All around our world, there are whispers from the past. These whispers are not spoken in words. They are carved in stone. We see them in giant monuments. We see them in incredible temples. We see them in cities built in impossible places. These structures were made by people who lived thousands of years ago. They stand today as a great mystery. We look at these giant stones, cut so perfectly and placed so precisely, and we must ask a question. It is a question that connects us directly to our ancestors. How did they do it? How did people with simple tools create wonders that we would struggle to build even today, with all our modern machines? These ancient builders did not have giant cranes. They did not have laser cutters or powerful trucks. Yet, they managed to move stones that weigh many tons. Some of these stones are as heavy as several large cars put together. They lifted them high into the air. They fitted them together so tightly that you cannot even slip a piece of paper between them. This level of skill is truly amazing. It makes us wonder what kind of knowledge they had. Was it a knowledge that we have now lost? Did they understand something about physics, about leverage, or about the Earth itself that we are only just beginning to rediscover? It is a puzzle that challenges our ideas about the past. The silence of these stones is what makes them so powerful. They do not tell us their secrets easily. We have to look closely. We have to study the marks left by their tools. We have to imagine the thousands of people working together. Think of the sheer human effort, the sweat, the planning, and the incredible dedication it must have taken. These were not just buildings. They were projects that could take many generations to complete. A father might start a project, knowing that his children or even his grandchildren would be the ones to finish it. This kind of long-term vision is a testament to their belief and their strong community. When we stand before these ancient wonders, we feel a sense of awe. We are looking at the dreams of our ancestors, made real in stone. They are a message sent across time. A message that says, we were here, we were clever, we were strong. And as we try to solve the mystery of how they built these places, we are not just learning about them. We are also learning about the amazing potential of human beings. The potential to work together, to overcome enormous challenges, and to create something that lasts forever. The question, how did they do it, is not just about tools and techniques. It is about the very spirit of humanity. When a question is very difficult to answer, our imagination often steps in to help. The mystery of the ancient stones has inspired many fantastic stories. Some people look at these incredible structures and believe they could not have been built by ordinary humans. They suggest that perhaps our ancestors had help from another world. The idea of ancient astronauts, visitors from other planets, is a popular one. Did aliens share their advanced technology with early humans? Did they use powerful energy beams to cut and move these massive blocks? It is an exciting idea, a story worthy of a Hollywood movie. It makes the past feel even more magical and mysterious. Another popular theory speaks of lost civilizations, great empires with knowledge far beyond their time. The most famous of these is Atlantis, a legendary island that supposedly sank beneath the waves, taking all its wisdom with it. Did the survivors of Atlantis travel the world, teaching others how to build these amazing monuments? Or perhaps there was an advanced human society, right here on Earth, that was destroyed by a great catastrophe. A society that understood sound waves, vibrations, or even anti-gravity. These stories suggest that humanity did not slowly climb the ladder of progress. Instead, they suggest we had a great fall, and we have been trying to get back to that high level ever since. These myths are fascinating because they speak to our sense of wonder. They fill in the gaps in our knowledge with incredible possibilities. We find ancient texts that speak of gods flying in vimanas, or sky chariots. We hear legends of giants who could lift huge stones as if they were pebbles. These stories are found in cultures all over the world. It is easy to see why some people believe they are not just stories, but real historical accounts of things that actually happened. The idea of a lost golden age is a powerful one. It gives a sense of magic to our history and suggests that humans were once capable of more than we can imagine. However, as scientists and archaeologists study these sites more closely, they find a different kind of story. It is a story that is, in many ways, even more amazing. It is not a story of aliens or magic. It is a story of human intelligence, creativity, and hard work. The evidence they find does not point to laser beams or anti-gravity. It points to clever tools, a deep understanding of natural materials, and the power of thousands of people working together. This explanation might seem less exciting at first, but it shows us that our ancestors were not helpless. They were brilliant engineers and master builders in their own right. Their achievements were truly their own. In the beautiful green hills of West Java, Indonesia, there is a place called Gunung Padang. For a long time, people thought it was just a large hill covered with ancient stone pillars. Local people considered it a sacred place. But recently, scientists began to study it more deeply. They used technology that can see beneath the ground, like ground-penetrating radar. What they found was astonishing. Gunung Padang may not be a natural hill at all. It seems to be a pyramid, a massive, layered structure built by human hands over a very, very long time. It could be one of the oldest such structures ever discovered. The top layer of the site, the one we can see, is made of stone columns. This part is already very old, maybe a few thousand years, but the layers underneath tell a much older story. Scientists believe the deepest parts of the structure could be more than 20,000 years old. This is a number that is hard to understand. It would mean that people were building large structures long before we thought they were. It was a time deep in the last ice age. At that time, most humans were thought to be simple hunters and gatherers. They were not supposed to be building giant pyramids. This discovery challenges everything we thought we knew about our early history. How could people from the Ice Age build something so big? This is the central mystery of Gunung Padang. The site seems to have been built in stages. The oldest part is deep inside the hill. Later, civilizations came and built new layers on top of the old ones. They used a special kind of glue or mortar to hold the stones together. The stones themselves are volcanic rocks, formed into long columns. The builders arranged them carefully to create walls, terraces, and chambers. It seems to be a complex and deliberate design, a sacred mountain built by humans. The idea that an advanced civilization existed so long ago is very exciting. It brings back the myths of lost worlds like Atlantis. Some researchers believe that Gunung Padang is proof of such a lost society. However, most archaeologists are more careful. They agree that the site is very old and very important. But they want to see more evidence before they rewrite all the history books. They are still studying the site, digging carefully to uncover its secrets. What is clear is that Gunung Padang has a deep and complex story to tell. A story that is slowly being revealed, one stone at a time. It reminds us that there are still great discoveries waiting to be made. In Western India, there is a temple that defies logic. It is called the Kailasa Temple. It is not a building in the normal sense. It was not built by putting stones on top of each other. Instead, it was created by taking stone away. Imagine a single, gigantic piece of solid rock, part of a mountainside. Now imagine thousands of workers starting at the top and carving their way down. They carved away everything that was not the temple. They cut deep trenches into the mountain. separating a huge block of stone from its surroundings. Then, they began to shape that block into a magnificent multi-story temple, complete with statues, pillars, and bridges. This method is called monolithic architecture. It means the entire structure is made from one single stone. To create the Kailasa Temple, workers had to remove an estimated 400,000 tons of rock. This is an incredible amount. The project is thought to have taken less than 20 years to complete, which makes it even more amazing. The builders had no room for mistakes. If you are building with bricks and you make a mistake, you can take the brick away and try again. But when you are carving from a single rock, every cut is permanent. One wrong move could ruin a statue or a pillar. The level of planning and precision required is almost unbelievable. So how did they do it? The myths say it was built in a single week using a divine, super hot weapon. But the real explanation is a testament to human ingenuity. Archaeologists believe the workers used a system of simple but effective tools. They would use hard steel chisels and hammers to cut lines and grooves into the rock. Then, they might have inserted wooden wedges into these grooves. When they poured water on the wood, it would swell up with great force, cracking the rock along the lines they had cut. It was a slow and difficult process, but with thousands of people working together, it was possible. The Kailasa Temple is more than just an architectural wonder. It is a work of art. It is covered in intricate carvings of gods, goddesses, animals, and stories from Hindu mythology. The sculptors who worked on it were true masters of their craft. They worked from the top down, finishing the roof and ceilings before they even started on the floors below. As they moved lower, the rock they had already carved away was simply dropped to the ground and carried out of the deep trenches. The temple stands today as a powerful reminder. It shows that with a clear plan, teamwork, and persistence, ancient people could move mountains. Or in this case, carve one into a masterpiece. Off the coast of a small Japanese island called Yonaguni, there is a strange and mysterious discovery. Deep beneath the ocean surface, there are these massive stone formations. They look like giant steps, flat terraces, and straight walls. The main structure is very large, about the size of a sports stadium. When a local diver first found it in the 1980s, he was convinced he had found a lost city, like a Japanese version of Atlantis, swallowed by the sea. The structure has these sharp, 90-degree angles and what look like carved staircases. Honestly, to many people, it just seems impossible that nature could create something so geometric and organized. The debate over the Yonaguni monument is a fierce one. On one side, some geologists and archaeologists believe it is a human-made structure. They point to the straight lines and the shapes that look like animals, such as a large turtle carved from stone. They believe it was built on dry land about 10,000 years ago, during the last ice age, when sea levels were much lower. As the ice melted and the oceans rose, the city was slowly flooded and lost to time. If this is true, it would be evidence of a very ancient and unknown civilization in Asia. It would completely change our understanding of the region's history. On the other side of the debate are many scientists who believe the monument is a completely natural formation. They argue that the type of rock in that area, sandstone, naturally breaks along straight lines and plains. They explain that strong ocean currents can erode the rock in ways that make it look artificial. The staircases and walls are, in their view, just the result of geology and water working together over thousands of years. They point out that there are no clear signs of tool marks on the stones, and they have not found any smaller artifacts, like pottery or tools, that you would expect to find in a city. So, is Yonaguni a natural wonder or a lost wonder of the ancient world? The truth is, we still do not know for sure. Both sides have strong arguments. The monument continues to be a source of fascination and mystery. It shows us how difficult it can be to read the story of the distant past. Sometimes the line between what is made by humans and what is made by nature is blurry. Whether it was built by ancient people or carved by the ocean, the Yonaguni Monument is a spectacular underwater world. It invites us to keep exploring, to keep questioning, and to keep searching for answers in the deep. In the Cappadocia region of Turkey, there is a surprise hidden beneath the flat plains. It is not a temple reaching for the sky, but an entire city that goes deep into the earth. This city is called Derinkuyu. It is a massive, multi-level labyrinth of tunnels and rooms carved out of soft volcanic rock. This is not just a small cave or a simple shelter. Derinkuyu is enormous. It is thought to have as many as 18 levels, reaching more than 85 meters deep. It was large enough to house up to 20,000 people, along with their food supplies and their animals. It is a complete, self-sufficient world, all underground. The city of Derinkuyu was a place of refuge. It was built to protect its people from enemies and invaders. When an army approached, the people living in the area could quickly disappear underground. They would lead their livestock down ramps into special stables. They would bring their food and water with them, and then they would seal the entrances from the inside. The doors were not made of wood. They were huge, circular stones, like giant millstones. These doors could be rolled into place to block the tunnels. They were so heavy that they could only be moved from the inside, making it almost impossible for attackers to get in. Life inside Derinkuyu was incredibly well organized. The city had everything its residents needed to survive for months at a time. There were living quarters, food storage rooms, and even a large room with a high ceiling that was used as a religious school. There were wine and oil presses and communal kitchens with ovens. Most importantly, there was a brilliant ventilation system. Dozens of vertical air shafts reached all the way from the deepest levels to the surface. These shafts provided fresh air to the entire city. They were cleverly disguised on the surface as ordinary wells or holes in the ground, so enemies would not discover the city's secret. Who built this incredible underground metropolis, and when? Archaeologists believe the first levels were carved thousands of years ago, perhaps by a people called the Phrygians. Over many centuries, the city was expanded by different groups who lived in the region, including early Christians who used it to hide from persecution. Derinkuyu is a stunning example of human cleverness in the face of danger. It was not built for glory or for worship. It was built for survival. It shows how people can use the natural landscape, in this case the soft rock, to create a safe and ingenious solution to a life-threatening problem. It is a hidden monument to the human will to live. In the vast Pacific Ocean, on the remote island of Pohnpei in Micronesia, lies the ruins of an ancient and mysterious city. It is called Nan Madol. This city was not built on land. It was built on top of a coral reef. It is made up of nearly 100 small artificial islands. These islands are separated by canals, like the streets of Venice. The islands themselves were built using massive columns of black volcanic rock called basalt. Some of these columns weigh up to 50 tons. Over 250 million tons of this rock were used to build the city. The question that has puzzled visitors for centuries is, how did they do it? And why? The legends of the island say that the city was built by twin sorcerers, Olisipa and Olosopa. They say the brothers used magic to make the giant stones fly into place. Some modern visitors have noticed strange magnetic anomalies in the area. Compasses sometimes do not work correctly. This has led to more modern myths, suggesting the builders used some form of forgotten magnetic technology or levitation. The sheer scale of the project, done on a small island with a limited population, makes it easy to believe that something magical must have been involved. Moving so much heavy rock and building a city on water seems like an impossible task. But scientists and historians have found more practical explanations. The basalt rock used for the city naturally forms into long, multi-sided columns. The builders likely quarried these columns from the other side of the island. They did not have to fly them. They probably built large rafts and floated the giant stones to the construction site. They would then use levers and ramps, along with a lot of human muscle, to lift the stones and stack them. They used a crisscross pattern, like building with Lincoln logs, to create the high walls. It was a slow and incredibly difficult process, but it did not require magic. It required knowledge of engineering and a huge amount of coordinated labor. So why build such a difficult and elaborate city? The answer seems to be about power and control. Nan Madol was the capital of a powerful dynasty of rulers called the Sceaux de l'Eure. By forcing all the local chiefs and their families to live in the city, the rulers could watch them and control them. The city was a symbol of their power and authority. It separated the ruling class from the common people. Nan Madol shows us that ancient monuments were often about more than just shelter or religion. They were political statements, designed to inspire awe and ensure that everyone knew who was in charge. It was a stone masterpiece built on water, all in the name of power. We have explored mysteries carved from mountains and hidden under the sea. We have seen cities built underground and on top of water. In every case, we find incredible human ingenuity. Let's look at one more puzzle: the granite sarcophagi of ancient Egypt. These were massive boxes, carved from a single piece of the hardest stone, designed to hold the remains of pharaohs. The lids alone could weigh many tons. The inside corners are often perfectly square. Scientists have experimented and believe the Egyptians used copper saws, but not just with muscle. They would add sand, which contains quartz, a very hard mineral. The sand would get caught under the saw and do the actual cutting. It was a simple trick, but brilliant. From the pyramids of Gunung Padang to the canals of Nan Madol, the story is often the same. The first explanation we reach for is magic or aliens. This is because we find it hard to believe that ancient people could be so clever. We look at their simple tools and our complex machines, and we assume we are much smarter. But we are wrong. These ancient builders were masters of their environment. They understood leverage, balance, and the properties of stone. They understood how to organize large groups of people to work together towards a single goal. Their greatest technology was not a laser beam. It was the human mind and the power of community. These ancient achievements were not the work of gods or extraterrestrials. They were the work of our ancestors. They are part of our shared human story. Recognizing this does not make these places less magical. It makes them more inspiring. It means that this incredible creative power, this ability to solve impossible problems, lies within all of us. The people who carved Kailasa and built Derinkuyu were not so different from you and me. They had dreams, they faced challenges, and they found ways to leave a mark on the world that would last for thousands of years. Their legacy is a testament to the enduring spirit of human innovation. And this brings us to a final thought, a question to ask ourselves. We live today in a world of wonders. We build skyscrapers that touch the clouds. We send probes to the farthest reaches of our solar system. We carry the world's knowledge in a small device in our pockets. But what will people think of our time, thousands of years from now? When they dig up the ruins of our cities, what will they see? Will they understand our technology? Or will they look at the skeletons of our tallest buildings and the silicon chips of our computers and ask themselves the same question we ask today? How did they do it? Perhaps our own age will become the great ancient mystery of the future.